First and foremost, if you haven't watched the movie, this video will have a lot of spoilers.
Hey, Georgie. How are you doing? I'm Pennywise the Dancing Clown.
What is up, y'all? This is Ray from Radar Reviews, and these are my top 6 creepiest scenes and or moments, whatever you want to call it, in the new Stephen King It movie 2017. Superman, Wolverine. Sorry. Number 6. There was a moment in the movie where the character Beverly, she's pretty much the only real female character amongst the guys within the movie itself, where she got mad at her father and he touched her hair and she was just sickened by it. So what she did was she went to the bathroom, locked herself in the bathroom, started cutting off all of her hair and then just throwing it down the drain. Later in the movie, she goes back to the bathroom. She's in a better mood though, but that's like her sanctuary. So what she does is she kind of locks herself into the bathroom for a little while and just thinks about what was going on. All of a sudden you hear a voice coming from the sink, and the voice that's coming from the sink is obviously Pennywise imitating other characters and saying, come down here, we all float down here, you'll float too. She's like, hello, like what? And she's like talking to the sink, the drain of the sink. Well, she gets a tape measure, she goes into the drain, she pretty much goes all the way to the ending of the actual tape measure itself, comes back up and pulls like hair. It was her hair that kind of clogged up the actual the sink that she had cut from her own head earlier in the movie. After that, and it's kind of like reddish and you kind of think it's rust or whatever, like if you ever dealt with any plumbing, sometimes you get rust or whatever in the water. In this case, this scenario, everything is blood. Everything is blood. She kind of like, the hair comes alive and starts grabbing on her and then going around her and everything, and all of a sudden she's like being pulled to the sink, to the drain, and always being pulled into it, and all of a sudden, boom, all you see is gushes of blood. I'm talking about like at least 20, 30, maybe 40 gallons worth of blood shooting out this freaking sink, and it's all over her, all over the bathroom and everything. And it was such a creepy scene just because of those beginning voices kind of built up the anticipation for it. And I was creeped out by that scene, and I love that scene because I thought the special effects were extremely well done. And could have sworn I saw a shape of Pennywise in the blood itself, but that could have just been my imagination. Number 5. So the kids are trying to figure out what's going on. So they get a projector. They put it into a garage. You've seen it in the commercial where they're overlapping a map with the actual still that you put into the projector to actually project it onto the map. And they're wondering where all these people went missing. When they realize all the kids missing from different places, you know, they start figuring things out. All of a sudden the projector starts acting weird and starts going too fast, and it's projecting different images on the actual wall. And then you see Pennywise start coming off in the family photos, and Pennywise comes out, his face is clear. All of a sudden, Chosen, or the real actor's name is Chosen, he kicks the projector over. So everybody's like bugged out in the garage, and they're all like, what the hell, and then like they're in silence because the projector is still going, but now slowly projecting image onto the wall. And then you see Pennywise there, he's kind of blurry and everything, and he's just like this, and all of a sudden he's gone. And then the kid's like, and then boom, like Pennywise comes out, but he's not even like normal size. He's like a freaking monster, like bigger than the whole freaking garage. And he's like the huge teeth, and he's all distorted and morphed, and he's reaching for the girl, trying to get to the girl. And that part, that was one part where I was like, oh shit. 4. The fat kid in the library. Damn it, fat kid. I relate to you so much. It's kind of like a two-parter, number 4, because there's actually 2 parts of the scene that actually stood out. One of them is more subtle. Another one is the main thing. Okay, so the fat kid in the library. The main scare is the kid gets the book, he's going through the book, he's going through the pages, he sees everything going on, he sees a severed head in the book, and within the old pictures from 1930, 1950, and he kind of like bugs out. He sees the red balloon just pass by through the library. All of a sudden, he kind of looks away, looks back to where the red balloon went, and there's an egg, and the egg is kind of like smoking, and it's at the end of the staircase. He goes over, and he had just finished reading a passage. Sorry if I went off screen there. He had just finished reading a passage in the book stating that there was one child that was left headless, and that's why he saw the head in the picture in the book. And so he's walking over. He sees an egg on the floor. He follows that. He sees another egg further down the stairwell. He follows that. Another egg down the further down the stairwell, follows that, and he continues following the little eggs until he gets to the destination of the lower part of the library, the storage facility, I guess. So all of a sudden somebody's behind him and they start coming down. He hides because he's not really supposed to be there, so he's not really thinking anything horror-wise. He's thinking like some of the faculty is there, and he's just like, oh no, I'm going to get in trouble. All of a sudden he sees somebody kind of like staggering down the steps, but from a distance, or you see his legs coming down the actual staircase, and then they stop around shoulder width. They look like they're looking around. I guess they're looking for the eggs, you assume. And then all of a sudden he takes another step, and the body has no head. That right there was like, oh shit, that was kind of creepy. And all of a sudden the body starts chasing him. He starts running, and he starts running his fat little legs all across the freaking thing. And yeah, all you see is, come on, egg boy. And he turns around, all of a sudden it's full blown. It's just Pennywise behind him going. Now that was the main part, the main scare. That the subtle part that was scary about that was if you actually look back into the scene where the fat kid, I'm sorry I forgot his name, and they don't show him on IMDb for some freaking reason during the cast. I don't know why. So anyway, he just received a book from the librarian. The librarian is talking to him and says, "Don't you have any friends? How many friends? Don't you have a lot of friends? Don't you have friends?" And he just takes the book and he's like, "Yeah, thanks for the book, lady," like judging. But then I kind of realized at that point, the librarian is asking him questions similar to when Pennywise was speaking to another character earlier in the movie, asking him if he had friends. So then right there, you're like, oh, that's kind of creepy right there. So I was a little creeped out right there. And then, so they show kind of like a wide shot. The fat kid is sitting at the table, and he's opening the book. Behind him, you see another table that's kind of blurred out. Another person sitting at the table behind him, and then behind him are a bunch of shelves. So in the shelves in the distance, you see the librarian who just handed him the book just walk over to that space. She's all in the background, and she just does this. And she's literally standing there in the distance, like maybe 20, 30 feet behind him, all blurred out. But you could tell it's still her. And he's just going through the pages. While the pages go going crazy, and she's just like, she is not moving. She's looking dead at him. And she's just, the whole time. That was so creepy because I thought something right there was going to happen. But then that's when the red balloon came across. And you're like, was that a segue to the red balloon, or was that just some more creepy shit from that old lady? Creepy scene number 3. The clown room. If you saw the movie, you saw the kid was tricked to go into a room full of clowns. What the fuck? I would not go into that freaking room for anything in the world. Maybe to protect someone else I love. But that's about it. That is about it. I wouldn't go in there. So the kid winds up going in there. He winds up going to just that whole creepiness of going into a room full of clowns was what got me. But then in front of him was this box. He opened the box, and inside the box is a doll that looks exactly like him. And it says, "Yo float." And it was just like, oh man. I believe it said "Yo float." I think it said "Yo float." I only saw the movie once, I'm sorry. Along those lines, okay? So, anyway, then, Pennywise makes an appearance while he's walking. Anyway, while he's walking to the box to find the doll that looks like him, you see one of the clowns just, like, turn and follow him in the shadows and just, like, go off. And it was like, damn, come on. Like they did that scene right. That was awesome. Creepy scene number 2. Bill, Georgie's older brother. Georgie is the character who's missing. Bill feels remorse and guilt because he's the one who sent his brother out that day, and he thinks his brother is missing, and he's not too sure what's going on. But he feels guilt and remorse. It's like midnight. He's in his house. He's in Georgie's room because he's the light turned on in Georgie's room. He goes in. All of a sudden, he hears a noise. He turns around. He sees Georgie run across the hallway and run down the stairs. So he runs after Georgie, scared out of his mind because he knows it can't be Georgie, but he's kind of hoping. But anyway, he finds himself going down to the basement, and this is the scene that you see, or part of the scene that you see in the actual trailers, where Bill is looking off there's a bunch of water in the basement. The basement's completely flooded, and he sees Georgie standing in the corner with his yellow rain slicker, his yellow rain hat, and everything, and he's just talking to him, saying, "I'm sorry, Georgie. I'm sorry, Georgie." Now that scene got me, like, right here. That scene kind of made me a bit emotional because it was just, you feel like you let your little brother down. Your little brother died in the process, and now you see him, and little brother is like, "Come on down. We'll float too. We'll float too. We'll float too." And then while Georgie is screaming, the head of Pennywise comes up, rises out of the water in the background, right behind Georgie. And I'm thinking, like, oh, he's creating a thing for Bill to see of his little brother. And then all of a sudden you see Georgie decomposing in front of Bill. And it's like, this is a 7-year-old kid decomposing because he's dead. He was killed in front of his older brother, and he's decomposing in front of him, and he's saying, "You'll float too," screaming and demonically. And then all of a sudden you see Pennywise has his hand like in Georgie's back, and he slams him like if he's a freaking puppet into the water. So he was just puppeteering him the whole time, and it's just like that thought that he was actually controlling him like an actual puppet with his hand in his back to a child. I was just like I was sad, disgusted, angry, everything. And then all of a sudden he slammed him into the water, and he just pops up going, "Rah!" And then, you know what happens after that if you saw the movie. But yeah, that scene like pissed me off and creeped me out at the same time. I was like, damn. Creepy ass scene number 1 in my opinion. Okay? It's the opening scene. The opening scene gave you its protagonist, which is Bill, the older brother. It gave the reasoning, the motivation, which is the death of Georgie, and it gave you the antagonist, which is Pennywise. All within a 3 to 4 minute span. So, the kid, young boy Georgie, respects his brother. His brother built a little ship for him so that way he can play and enjoy himself. But Bill couldn't go with him because he was sick and it was raining, so he was stuck in the house while Georgie went out by himself. And he was only going to go around the block and then come back. That's it. But the boat fell into a drain. He said, "Oh no, Bill is going to kill me." And that's when Pennywise pops up in the drain, and he starts talking to him, and he has this conversation with him. Now the conversation is so creepy and awkward. It's just like what? Like, wow, that's like so weird. Like, "Hey George, do you smell the popcorn? Did I pop 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 pop?" You know, I mentioned that before. And then Georgie starts laughing because he's thinking it's a clown. All of a sudden, Pennywise becomes very serious, and he's like, "Oh, do you have to go? Do you have to go?" Now this is when he started asking him questions like, "Don't you have a lot of friends?" And, you know, stuff like that. Like what I mentioned before in the other scene with the fat kid in the library. But yeah, then Georgie comes out and says, "Well, I gotta go because my brother Bill is waiting for me, and well, nice to meet you. Bye." And he goes, "Wait a minute, don't you want your boat? Don't you? Would you like your boat back?" And this is when Georgie reaches for the boat, and Pennywise is holding the boat in his hand, and he goes, "Take it. Take it." And then just grabs Georgie's hand as he reaches for the boat, grabs Georgie's hand. All of a sudden, Pennywise's face just like morphs into this freaking demonic looking ass, even further demonic looking, and there's like teeth, and bites off Georgie's arm. I mean, like, brutally rips off his arm, and the kid is screaming and crying, and the kid tries to get away. He flops back, and he's trying to like climb with, or he's trying to crawl with one arm out into the middle of the street away from the storm drain, and he's screaming his brother's name, Bill, help, Bill, help. And I was just like, what? And then how you see is a hand creep out from underneath the storm drain, because now it's like a top view angle, grabs the kid by the leg, rips him under the sidewalk into the sewers. The last words Georgie said were, Bill, help me. Calling to his brother, calling to the protagonist of the film. Man, that scene was creepy as shit. It caught me in the feels, it caught me logically, it caught me intelligently, it caught me on every single freaking level, because it motivated the rest of the movie. That was great writing by Stephen King, great reimagining by the director, great acting on Pennywise's part, Bill Skarsgard, and the child who plays Georgie. I forget his name. I'm sorry. He did great. Okay. All right, so those were my top six creepy scenes. Originally, it was 5. And then I had to throw in that clown room in there because I completely forgot about it. I was like, no. The clown room has to be in there, so it became 6. I'm ready for Rated R Reviews. Peace out. Go watch that damn movie in theaters. Don't bootleg shit. Go watch it in theaters. Damn it.